Hello. Today we have the pleasure of having the youngest author in town, the author at the age of 18, the author of Becoming a Maker. Hi, Hani.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So, how do you feel after being an author?
It hasn't really made a profound impact in my life. I mean, if you look, I wouldn't categorize my life as before the book and after the book. I've definitely had the opportunity to meet the ambassador.
He launched your book.
Yeah, he launched the book, and that was a fantastic opportunity. It was quite surprising to see the book at bookstores across Qatar. But in a day-to-day life, I don't really think the book made much of an effect in how I lived. Yeah.
Okay. So, as a teen author, studying in Leeds College, how was the acceptance among them? Like, rather than being just a student, but as an author of a book?
I think most of them were surprised of the fact that I became, this was a thing, because I am doing computer science and the book is not exactly about computer science. It was more about tended towards a robotics audience. So there was this element of surprise, but even beyond that, it wasn't a huge deal there, because I think it was available on Amazon, and beyond that, it wasn't much of a thing there.
Okay, so many of will be wondering, like, I've introduced as a teen author, like studying in Leeds, and you mentioned about robotics, computer science. Would you mind introducing yourself to our viewers?
Well, yes, I was basically born here in Qatar, and I was brought up here. I did 14 years of schooling at Birla. And then right now I'm pursuing a computer science degree, a bachelor's in computer science at the University of Leeds in England.
Okay. Another question, which most of the people who have handled this book would have. It is written as edition 1.
Yeah.
So can you explain more on this? What is coming forth?
I don't want to talk about it too much, but we are working on the next edition. And
Wow,
think,
that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, especially with the advent of artificial intelligence, we wanted to, again, not by not giving away too much, we wanted to include a part in how you could include artificial intelligence in your robotics projects, or how AI could help you with learning hobby robotics. So that, I would say, would be a major part of what you can expect in addition to.
Okay. What are your hobbies other than writing or?
I guess this would not as much of a surprise, but I'm a huge reader. I read a lot.
So the writer is a reader as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I did competitive running for a couple of years in high school. I still try to follow with that. It doesn't go that well. I think that would sum me up as a person, more or less.
Okay. How was this club of 3 co-authors? How did you meet up, and what was that particular point of, did they say, like, the bulb started stirring and you ended up in a decision? How was that point?
I think in life you get a few opportunities, and I think I was really lucky to have had the opportunity to meet my co-authors Jay and Nihal. And like, we were in the same class, and I don't believe in a million years we would have ever met in any other scenario apart from the fact that we were in the same class together in the same year. So I was grateful for that. And as far as the book, I think I've told the story before, but basically what happened was Jay had an opportunity to teach robotics in a government school in India over online.
Okay.
And he was trying to prepare materials for that. And like, we have a whole lot of materials for all sort of topics, but we didn't find anything that was simple enough or condensed enough or just straightforward beginner level. So he got in touch with both of us and was like, okay, why don't we write a book that just goes A to Z with everything you need to know about hobby robotics.
So how long it took? What was the preparation period, and how long it took to finish the book?
I would say, I think this was probably, we started talking about it 2 weeks in May of last year. And it took us more or less 6 months. Yeah.
Just 6 months.
Just the whole writing part, yeah.
Okay.
Because we were because again, hobby robotics is a huge thing. And like you take Arduino, which is a simple object, but then you have like a gazillion things you can add on to it, on top of that, which really adds to it. So you need to be like, sure, okay, what are the simplest parts that excites a student as well as they have the learning opportunity. So I think more or less I'd say it took us around 6 months.
If not robotics or artificial intelligence, what would be some other genre that I could say authored by Hanish Abdulla?
Well, fiction probably. I would not mind writing, I don't know, probably a sci-fi book. I don't know if I'd be good at it. We'll have to see. Probably a fiction. I don't know.
You'll never come out of science.
Ideally, I would like to, because I find the idea of fiction fascinating. The fact that you can create your own world with your own characters, with your own plot lines, and it just, it's all in your head and you just create it.
And with your books, you're taking us along with you.
I'm sorry?
And with your
Yeah.
books. Okay. And tell me, like, what was the one best comment or compliment you got it from one of your readers?
We had a teacher from the government that we actually, so once the book came out, we sent a bunch of these books to the government school.
Government school of?
The government school in India that Jay initially taught at.
Okay.
So, because they are the ones who initially gave us inspiration for the book.
Which part of India?
I think it was Uttar Pradesh.
Okay.
And the teacher sent us a long response, giving us gratitude and telling us how grateful she was to have received these books. And I think that was probably okay. Like maybe there were a lot of things. There were a lot of hardships along the way with the book, and that letter letter that we got really made the whole thing worth it.
As an author from the genre of AI and robotics, do you mind recommending some books which is entirely different from these genres?
Sticking to the subject of artificial intelligence, I would definitely recommend The Coming Wave by Mustafa Suleyman, who is, I believe, the current CEO of AI at Microsoft. I think it discusses really important topics given our future of AI. And as far as away from the whole robotics and computer science, I would definitely recommend. I recently read My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante, which I thought was an absolutely brilliant book. The way the author describes the streets in Naples and the relationships between the characters.
So what is the book is all about?
It's hard to describe. I think the book actually was #1 in New York Times bestseller. I'm sorry, New York Times released a list of the 100 best books of the 21st century.
Okay.
And My Brilliant Friend topped the list. That's why I actually came across it and read it. And it's about these two girls that grew up in Naples, and from their childhood to their high school, and the way the book was constructed, the relationship between the two girls, their friendship, the relationships they encompass onto, and between the families. It was a really good book. I would definitely recommend to anyone who has any sort of interest in that, or even in general.
Okay. I know you have read hundreds or thousands. What would I say? How many books you would have read by now?
It's definitely in the hundreds. I don't think I've crossed the thousands yet.
Wishing you to thousands. So among these 100 books you have read, I want you to suggest like one favorite book of yours. One favorite. I know it's hard, but then please.
I would honestly, I think it would have to be Paper Towns by John Green.
Paper Town, okay. Why that's your favorite?
I think because for most books, it has to be the intersection of where you're going in life, and the book has to be in the right time for you. Because there are so many books I would have enjoyed more if it had been a better time in my life.
Okay.
And I think Paper Towns, for me, the time I read was the right time in my life to read it. So
which is?
I think I read it 2 years back.
Okay.
It was like peak teen. I was like going through my teenager. It was COVID, and it was a really good book for that time. It's a young adult book. I'm not sure if I would like it right now if I read it again. So that's why I think the timing of the book really matters. But from what I remember, it was a really good book. I think it had to be that.
And you as an author, as a teen, you inspire me. I'm certain you inspire a lot of budding readers, aspiring writers. So would you mind sharing the milestone journey after the publication of becoming an author, becoming a maker?
Actually, I think the more opportunities you knock, the more things you do, the more opportunities knocks on your door. And I think that was the case with this book. Immediately after this book, I think even 2 months or so after the publication of the book, we had the opportunity to go and propose a machine. We wanted to build a machine for DHL.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a shipping company.
Can you explain more on this? I want you to elaborate this.
Okay.
Interesting.
The DHL operation in Qatar is quite small. They don't have a great funding because it's a quite small operation. They don't need it. And for instance, they have these documents. They ship documents around the planet, and the documents that come through Qatar are being sorted out by hand. So one of my co-authors actually had an internship last year, and he came across the fact that they were sorting these by hand, and he was like, "Okay, we could certainly do something about it." So we went. Within his contacts, we went to DHL. We had a CAD model of the machine. We had some rough estimates of what it would cost us to build the machine.
So you build a machine?
Yeah, we built a machine.
Oh, great. Inspiring. Okay.
And I think the book really was like, I don't think it majorly helped us with trying to get the deal of the machine because it has nothing. We know robotics, they knew that we knew robotics, and the book helped us with that. But I think the book really showed them that we could really do something from start to finish. Like we could complete it.
Okay. Was that a practical implication of what you've theoretically written here?
Definitely, yeah. We've actually used a lot of, I think we have Arduinos in the initial prototype. We used Arduinos that were mentioned directly from the book. We have motors and stuff that we mentioned in the book. Yeah, definitely. So it's a practical application to several degrees.
Great. So you got a great platform to exhibit it.
Yeah.
Okay. So number one. Then?
I think the other one probably have to be my university application. The book was mentioned in my personal statement for the University of Leeds. And I think that was a major, I don't know, they don't tell you what was the major considerations they took.
Yet.
So probably maybe, but the book I think helped a lot in the way of getting into the University of Leeds. Yeah.
Yes. So I have many more questions to go, and I am certain you would be having so many stories to say as well. So for now, let's conclude with, as it is written edition 1, let's conclude with volume 1. What would you like to give a keynote or an end note to this?
Well, I think the book was actually primarily targeted towards 7 to 12-year-olds. But in my conversation with the ambassador of India, I think even he was an engineer who later moved to diplomacy. And I think in my conversation with Mike, I realized, I hadn't thought about it, but this could also be a great introductory guide for adults who have in their spare time who want to start up a new hobby.
I agree with you.
It's just tinkering with small things, creating small things. And that's something I've never thought about. And I think that's probably what I want. You don't have to be a child. You can be a grown-up. It would be more financially feasible as well.
Okay.
So I think that would be what I would want to say. It's for all ages, so definitely.
Any kid that is aspiring to know something about AI, or someone who doesn't know anything about robotics or AI, for example, like me, this would be a gateway.
Definitely, yeah. It would be great. Yeah.
So where can we find this book?
As of right now, it's available across all over Amazon. So wherever Amazon delivers, you'll receive the book. And in Qatar, locally, it's available in all Jarir bookstore showrooms.
Okay. Who was your first buyer? So this is my last question. Who was the first buyer of Becoming a Maker, online or offline, wherever it was?
I think it was probably Mr. Dinesh Kumar. I think probably, yeah. I think it was our first Amazon sale order. We celebrated that.
So once again, Hanish, congratulations. And we all are so proud of you. And I'm certain you have way more to go, to many more books to come, and to the brightest of the future that you have got.
Thank you so much.
Would you like to give some end note to this?
I think probably the fact that the book's available on Amazon and across wherever Amazon delivers. And also in Qatar locally, it's available in all showrooms of Jarir Bookstore.
Okay. Yeah. So presenting to you, Hanish Abdulla, the author and the book, Becoming a Maker. Thank you.
And again, I'd like to thank you so much for this very great opportunity.
Pleasure having you. Thank you.